Hello everyone, my name is Victor Torres and I'm the author of Perfect Love, Cast Out All Fear, and we've been doing a reading, especially for those people that don't have time to read this book, and so that's where I'm trying to help out. The first chapter we just completed is called Perfect Love, Cast Out All Fear, the name of the book, and the first chapter is Dwelling in Fear, and now we're on beginning of chapter 2 called Becoming the Bride of Christ. And Isaiah 62:5 declares, "As the bridegroom rejoices over the bride, so shall your God rejoice over you." So it's a scene often repeated in old movies. Two young lovers rush to embrace from opposite ends of a flower-filled field. Deliriously in love, they run toward each other with arms outstretched, completely oblivious to anything or anyone else. Then when they finally meet, they throw themselves into an ecstatic embrace, rejoicing in the purity and devotion of their love for one another. With this image in mind, read Isaiah 62:5 again. "As the bridegroom rejoices over the bride, so shall your God rejoice over you." This is the fulfillment of God's creation, the purpose for your very existence. "And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength." Mark 12:30. All the good works, all the gifts to charity, and all the time spent devoted to ministry are only secondary in God's eyes to what He wants most from us, our hearts. What He desires above all else is that His passionate, infinite love for each one of us be returned unto Him with the same kind of fervor. This is the true goal of every believer, to discover the joy of falling in love and being completely in love with Jesus. No matter what gut-wrenching tragedies or agonizing memories may haunt us from the past, God has promised that He will not give up on us. Indeed, there is abundant life available to us. Everyone bears lacerations on their hearts from broken relationships that need mending, and they also need to be tended to because no one is immune from the evil of our day. As violence and abuse are glorified on television, on our streets, in our schools, and in numerous households throughout our nation, we must remember that as Christians we are impacted too. Matthew 5, verse 45 soberly reminds us that He makes His sun rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the just and the unjust. We all carry battle scars, and often fresh wounds that still pierce our souls. Our wounds, however, are no excuse for not serving God or for not trusting Him as our bridegroom. Can you imagine two people marrying one another who do not trust each other, or where one person is trustworthy but the other is not? Unfortunately, that happens much too often from what I've observed in my life experiences and in the professional counseling that I've provided to troubled people. But what kind of marriage or romantic relationship do these people really have? In such an arrangement, there is no real intimacy, no true friendship, no security, and inevitably no love. This is not what the Lord intended, neither for earthly marriages and dating relationships, nor for our relationship with Him. The bottom line, we must learn to trust God completely and without wavering in all aspects of our lives. Unfortunately, when we've been betrayed, this is easier said than done. But when we fully realize that the one to whom we must surrender everything is totally in love with us and desires only the best for us, how much easier it becomes to rest in His presence. For it is by the glory of His grace that we've been given everlasting consolation and good hope, according to 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 16, and by which He has made us accepted in the Beloved, Ephesians 1:6. Do you remember when you were engaged to your future spouse and were planning your wedding? Just the thought of your fiancé would cause your face to light up and prompt you to envision your future together. For you men, God was fulfilling His promise to bless you with the beautiful princess of your desires, of your dreams. And for you women, this was the special, handsome prince that you had prayed for, waited for, hoped for, and longed for. With this in mind, does it seem strange to realize that Jesus also prays, hopes, and longs and waits for you? He delights to spend time with you, and his face lights up with joy at the thought of you. Zephaniah 3 verses 16 to 17 proclaims, "Do not fear, Zion. Let not your hands be weak. The Lord your God in your midst, the mighty one, will save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will quiet you with his love. He will rejoice over you with singing." And through a word study of the Hebrew, listen to the depth of expression communicated by the original text. Do not let anyone make you afraid or frighten you, daughter of Zion. Don't let your hands cease or slacken from the task. Do not faint, become feeble, or slothful in what I have called you to do. The self-existent, eternal God is within you, in your very heart. He is a powerful warrior, your champion, who is strong and valiant. He will cause you to be free and safe. He will avenge, defend, deliver, help, preserve, and rescue you, and bring your salvation and victory. He will be greatly glad and make mirth over you with exceeding gladness, pleasure, and rejoicing. He will cause you to be quiet and rest from all of your worries and petitions by his great love. He will spin around and leap for joy over you with shouts of joy, cries of gladness, and songs of triumph. If you're married, think back to your wedding day, how wonderful it was to love so completely and so passionately, to know that your betrothed had chosen to give him or herself solely to you. The joy that radiated from your relationship must have been contagious. And all of our close friends must have known exactly of where we were thinking when that look flashed across our faces. People in love have every reason to be joyful. Similarly, when we dedicate our lives to Christ, Jesus took us in his arms and loved us like no one ever had before. God himself has chosen us to be his beloved, just as you eagerly anticipated seeing your lovely, glowing bride dressed all in white, or your fine-looking, irresistible groom decked out in striking attire. So does God eagerly await his wedding day. Even though it has become common and accepted nowadays to see brides who are virgins wearing white, the traditional wedding dress is supposed to signify purity, integrity, and moral excellence. The Lord's bride will be pure in every respect. This applies to the man and woman who are dedicated to the Lord. Uncontaminated from other lovers, both will be worthy to wear white because they have chosen not to hide anything from their blessed Redeemer. God's true believers are firm and unfailing in their allegiance to God because they have their eyes on their beloved, Jesus. Nothing could delight him more. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next time.